Greetings, YouTube. You know, it wouldn't be called Kabam Mike's Revenge and not have some unreasonably high amount of unforeseen drama, right? I mean, given Kabam Mike's, shall we say, unique and at times challenging relationship over the years with this community, you just knew if Kabam Mike was involved, something somehow was not going to go as planned. And that is exactly what happened this week when the Volume 1 Mike's Revenge Complete Act 5 Chapter 2 Quest 6 with both 3-star or below Cyclops New Xavier School and Cyclops Blue Team. Because there were two ways to interpret this. One way was a lot easier and, dare I say, less expensive than the other way. And summoners quickly jumped on this chance. And look, I don't have raw numbers. I know some summoners did this. I don't know how many, but I do know it was a significant amount to the point that I've heard from several people who are now worried about this. So basically what happened was they did put both 3-star Cyclops on their team. But you know what they did after that? They put other champions on their team. Champions like Aegon, for example, that were also 3-stars. And they completed Act 5, Chapter 2, Quest 6. And that ended up somehow getting them the triggered rewards. Now, this is significant because if you did the other way of just using only both Cyclopses and not having the ability to use a champion like Aegon, obviously it was not only much harder, but it's much harder. Therefore, you're spending a lot more units and potions and ultimately revives. So Icon here says the general assumption has been that you can only use 3 stars of each Cyclops on the team to complete this challenge. I've heard rumblings that may not be the case, and the wording in the game is a bit ambiguous. For the Loki challenge, it clearly says only Loki. This is not the case for Mike's Revenge. So is the intention for it to be only 3-star Cyclops or a full team that includes both 3-star Cyclops, aka if it's a full team with both 3-star Cyclops, you can actually fill the other 3 spots with much better 3-stars that are not Cyclops. Both 3-stars, says both. It's clear you need to bring only 3-star Cyclops. The question is, do you need to only bring 2 3-star Cyclops? And so, you can have people who say, look, you only bring them. But the problem is, some summoners have confirmed that there are videos of people using players like Aegon or champs like Aegon and Ghost to get the rewards. So, Kabam Mike eventually said the objective is to use both and only 3-star Cyclops and Cyclops Blue Team. Only bring those 2. If that isn't what's happening, we'll look into that. Well, turns out that some people did just that. You know, they completed the challenge as hoped by Kabam, but some people didn't. And that made Kabam have to go to the drawing board with their favorite editing tools. And, you know, Bitter Steel here says, is it too much to hope that since some are completing it with other non-Cyclops 3-stars, and again, that's been confirmed. I've had people that have reached out to me saying, Prof, I had both Cyclops on my team, but I also had other champions that I used really mainly to clear the content, and now I'm worried that since I accepted the rewards, I'll get a ban. Now, that's on Kabam. That's not on that player, though we have seen Kabam punish players before, even for their mistakes. My thinking is exactly what Bitter Steel has said. If you have players that did a loophole and are able to complete it by having both Cyclops on their team, but having better champions like Ghost and Aegon, for example, on their roster, then everybody should be able to do that. You shouldn't punish anyone. It was your mistake, Kabam. You shouldn't punish the players that were, I guess, creative enough or brave enough to try it in a vague way by not just taking both Cyclops, and you should also not punish future players by not giving them this now closed, I assume, loophole. It would make a hell of a lot less of a cash grab, that's for sure. Well, the man, the myth, the legend, we know that cash grabs are what Kabam can be about. And so, there you go. Eventually, what does Kabam do? They change the wording of it. And now it says complete Act 5, Chapter 2, Quest 6 with only 3-star or below Cyclops and Cyclops Blue Team in your roster. That was fast. Oh goodness, I didn't even see that. It does sound like you can use the 2-star version as well, though using the 3-star version against the collector is already insane enough, blah, blah, blah. So, basically, my question is, how do you feel about the players that got to do it with non-Cyclops on their team in those other 3 spots? By the way, there's a final post I should read that clearly says with both here, not only both misleading players into misinterpreting the challenge and are now very worried about something they didn't know about. So, Alpha says, people have completed this and gotten the rewards because they read it as they had to be included in the team. So with the statement, people have spent items and units to do it with a 3-star team, including the Cyclops, to get rewards. Some daring not to open the rewards out of fear of a ban or something that wasn't their fault. So Alpha speaks to what I've heard about from, I'm not going to say a lot of members of the community, but at least 3 people have reached out to me that don't know each other, that did it with champions like Ghost and Aegon that were not the Cyclops. Again, my solution, a pro player solution, this is Kabam's fault. Sorry, Kabam Mike, I know you want revenge, but this is not the time to have it, given the mistakes. Allow everybody to clear it with both Cyclops on their roster, but the other 3 spots can be used with anyone. Yes, you're going to lose money on it, but it's the right thing to do, and it's also fair for all players who are now just coming across, say, this video. Otherwise, you're just either putting yourself in a position where you're going to feel pressured to punish the players unfairly who took advantage of the ambiguity loophole, or not allow all other people who didn't have a chance to take advantage of that loophole to not get it. Either way, somebody loses, and if somebody needs to lose in this case, it's Kabam, because it's a mistake that's on them. I'm not saying that because it's anti-Kabam. I'm just saying that because they're the one that made the mistake. They should have put it at the beginning as only, and if they didn't, they should have not had players allowed to trigger the rewards when they brought in other champions. Then they would have learned the hard way, oh, I guess it really does mean only, and I wasted my time, but at least it would have been consistent, whereas now the consistency is just not there. So, YouTube, this is one of those forum posts that I'm sure people are going to agree to disagree. Maybe there's some people out there who think my perspective is out there and wrong, and of course it is a YouTube video, so you are entitled to that opinion. I just want to see where people stand. Overall, in instances like this, I think the pro player move is to make it fair to everybody in the same playing field as everybody. Don't punish anyone for it being Kabam's fault. Don't make it to where people like Alpha are afraid to claim their rewards out of fear of some ban that was outside of their control. But at the same time, don't punish players who haven't done it yet by essentially closing the loophole that makes it a lot harder and makes Kabam, of course, a lot more money. Either way, I look forward to seeing people's responses on this, and thanks as always for your continued feedback and support of my Marvel Casino of Champions YouTube channel.